the network.
What's going on? My name is Khori, and I am a music marketer. And today I have a very special guest with me, my guy, Evan. Evan is a really dope dude, man. He is an elite merchandiser, one of the best merchandisers in the game, having merchandise for all of LVRN's roster. So some of the biggest artists like Summer Walker, Dram, Black, and just the rest of the roster. Yeah, they have a really dope roster over there. He is also an author now with his book coming out September 1st. Is that the correct date?
September 1st. Yes, sir.
September
yes,
1st,
sir.
man.
You ready?
So an official author, bro. Congrats, man, with his book Paces that really just goes deep into how the mindset of a person can affect their business decisions and just like the decisions they're making in life. And I'm really hoping y'all get as much value out of this conversation as I've gotten from him. I'm sure Sean's gotten from just the conversations we've had with you, man. So appreciate you, bro, for joining me today.
Appreciate y'all having me. Happy to be here.
Yeah, man. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. So I'm real big on, I know in the music industry or entertainment in general, we tend to get lumped into like our job titles, but I'm really big on, everyone kind of has a story that, tells how they got to where they are, man. So if you could just, what is your background like? Like what led you to the position that you're in now? And, what are some of the things that you were interested in that got you to where you are?
For sure, man. Like, it's always interesting, like, because I try to answer this question differently every time in a certain sense, but still end up at the same place, right? Recently, I was explaining even the story and what made me even care so much about fashion and merchandising. And a big reason was because I was ridiculed in school. Like, I was made fun of because I was the kid that had to wear the same pants 3 times a week, because I wore uniform. I wasn't used to having my own style or anything of that nature. So just being laughed at, right, out of necessity, it was like, nah, this is not going to happen no more. I was always wanting to fight. So I was like, you know what? Nah, I'm going to get fly now. Yeah. So that was like just the desire to want to understand fashion and merchandising just period, because it's just like I was tired of being laughed at, bro. Yeah. So as I went into college, I was big in just getting fly, dressing up, wearing the flyest thing, the Gucci, the designers, even just the regular plain tees that just had very great quality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Once I graduated college, I studied public relations. However, I did not go into an agency or corporate or a nonprofit entity to do PR. I went and worked for a merchandising company instead. And that's where I learned the business. From packing boxes to folding the shirts to cold calling to inventory. You name it, I did everything there. And that was really my foundation for being able to succeed in doing everything that I'm doing now at LVRN.
Gotcha.
So that was kind of like the transition in that sense. You know what I'm saying?
What type of merchandising was that? Was that first job? Like what was
wholesale?
Okay,
wholesale.
Gotcha.
Yep. So I wasn't necessarily on an e-commerce team because back in 2014 that was still bubbling. Of course, like it was existing. It's not as wild as it is today in 2020. But back then, people still went to the malls to shop, in droves. You know what I'm saying? So being able to sell to the stores, I was traveling all over the country to the different trade shows, the Magics, the Agendas, the street scenes, all of these different types of shows, and just sponging and learning the business and what it took to be successful in it.
Okay, that's dope. That sounds like the perfect place to start, because like you said, with wholesale, you literally get to see all aspects of it. Even e-commerce, as much as from what it's developed into and how important it is. I don't know, man, I feel like wholesale is like the perfect place, like I said, to start and learn all of that. So, I mean, what would you say were some of the foundational things that you took out of that job that you still use in your current merchandising? Like, what's some of the more important things you got out of that?
For sure. Something that just across any business period is keeping the product first and understanding presentation. So again, the first thing that I did when I was an intern was pack and fold boxes. Okay. Right. And the biggest thing as it relates to just the box, right? That's how someone is going to receive the product. So if you just receive something and it's beat up or it's not aesthetically pleasing and you open it up and the shirt is wrinkled or whatever the case may be, 9 times out of 10, you're going to look at them like, are you really going to purchase again? Right. The perception, like the product is not right. So just that specifically, I take that into my situation now, and just with everything, because it's like, if the product is not right, you're not going to have repeat customers. You're not going to retain these people that are spending money with you. So always keep the product first.
Okay, I
That's
like that.
that's the biggest one, like, period.
I like that. I like that. So you've been a part of merchandising for, well, let me ask you this first. So for the artists that you're doing with now, at what point were you introduced to their merchandising teams? Was it something that you have been working on since kind of like the inception of their music careers, or was there like a point where they were like, all right, now it makes sense for Evan to come in and do his thing?
So that's a good question. So as it relates to merchandising period, so we have the merchandise division, and if anyone remembers, like, Black, when the first designs as it relates to the bear that had the bars, like,
Yeah.
we were doing those shirts, right? So it's not like I'm an outside entity. I'm on salary with the company. So it wasn't like I was selected to, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm hired
Yeah.
on board, and I work with the team, with the management team, with the business managers, with the producers and everything, to make sure that the product gets done. So since inception, honestly, like, since, our artists rolling out merch, it flows through this process, like, where it touches, the merch division.
Okay.
So
So,
I'm not sure.
well, I was like, so well, because that makes me want to rephrase it. So let me ask this then. At at what point in, so when LVRN brings a new artist through, I know LVRN is like super huge in like artist development. Like y'all catch a talent when like only like 100 people in Atlanta know them. You know what I'm saying? Then y'all build them up. So at what are the stages, or at what point do you start having those conversations with the artists y'all are bringing through about even developing a merch? Is it like a certain metric, like when you hit, X amount of emails? Is it when, is it like just like when the fans start demanding for it? Is there a metric that you even go by for that? No, I think that's
So
more
there's
so
no,
what I'm asking.
yeah, no, that's a better, I can understand your question a little bit more now. So no, there's not necessarily a metric, because we want to implement merchandise in all of our clients. Like,
Okay.
we want everyone to have a strategy. So it starts now from inception. Like, we have a new head of creative as far as designs, and he deals and speaks to the artists on the type of things that they like. And then he communicates with I, and then how we're going to get it done. So
Okay.
it's not necessarily a metric or like followers or this. No, everyone should have a merchandise strategy. Even if you're not signed, you should have a merchandise strategy, because can you go on tour right now? Absolutely
Yeah.
not. Can you do a
Big
meet and greet
facts.
right now? Absolutely not. Like, what can you do? Oh, you could open up a web store and sell your merchandise that affects your brand, where you could get more eyeballs on you. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, there's no metric. Starts now.
I got you. We'll even tell like artists sometimes, we'll be like, man, you're spending all this money like on yourself. Like, you might as well have merch, because all it takes is like a couple t-shirts sold and you made your money back. Or like a Shopify store is like $30. You sell like 2 t-shirts a month, like you at least made your money to recoup and keep going. So have there been any particular products or items that you've seen that have made for like good merch? Like, like, yo, no matter what the case is, like, this is always going to sell. Or is it truly like a unique case by case situation depending on like what the artist fans want?
That's a good question too. So, in my opinion, from what I've seen just across the board, when you're able to wear a piece or something that you brand that the artist actually loves, like, just put it this way, right? Like the Chance 3 hat, it's a staple, right?
Yeah.
So people are going to buy it because it's authentic to Chance. He wears it. So naturally, the people are going to want to be like him. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
if, as an artist, whatever piece you support or whatever piece that you're going to wear or most openly and rock with, 9 times out of 10, that's going to be the best seller, outside
Yeah.
of just if the design is just super dope. So like, even like this shirt I have on right now, like, still pronounced black. Like, the first shirt design that we did of this one was black pronounced black, because people were spelling his name wrong. We
I
did a
remember that.
whole
Yeah.
campaign behind it, right? So
Yeah.
naturally, this is what people saw. So it's like, naturally, I rock with black and I want people to pronounce his name correctly. So I'm going to wear this shirt. Even if you had no idea who Black was, now it's a conversation starter.
Yeah.
So being able to, create these pieces or be part of these teams to create these campaigns, it's been dope, because like, I'll be in Amsterdam and I'll see somebody wearing a shirt like that, and it's just like, wow, I had a hand in getting this done, that
Yeah.
they have this shirt on right now. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
However, back to the question again, like whatever you support, whatever piece you want the people to wear, and you have the message behind it, and it's authentic, 9 times out of 10 that's what's going to go.
Yeah, so I like the key thing you said is like authenticity to the base. So because I've seen some artists get away with like some like crazy merch stuff just because like their base likes it. You know, I think Ari Lennox was one of the first artists that I saw selling like bonnets and sleeping cap like sleeping masks as merch. And I remember when I saw it, I was like, man, that's weird. But then when you think about her base, you're like, damn, that makes perfect sense. Like her base
Right.
will go to the store and buy bonnets and sleeping masks. Why not be the one supplying that? You know, so like you said, why not give them a conversation piece to go like, oh shit, you have a Ari Lennox face sleeping mask or something. So I always think, yeah, that's dope. The whole authenticity thing, and I also feel like that opens up the door to just more unique merch ideas. You know, like it helps them stray away from just the t-shirt, hoodie, hat combo. You know, that we always see.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what like with Black, we're rolling out a hot sauce. Super authentic to him. It makes sense, right? Like fans want it. Like so.
Well, y'all
that's
still
just
selling,
another example.
Y'all still selling the hot sauce?
It's about to go back on sale, so get ready.
Okay. All right, perfect, bro. Appreciate that, man. Okay, man. So I know another thing you mentioned earlier was the trade shows. So like how open are these trade shows? Are these things that just anyone can pick up and go to, or is it something that you just have the end into it and that's how you got into them?
So through my internship turned into job, since it's wholesale, this is how the money gets made for the most part, where a large majority of the money gets made, right? So at these trade shows, the MAC trade show, Agenda in Vegas, Magic in Vegas, Project, this is the central location where all these buyers from all these different stores all around the world come to see the new products for whatever season is next. So right now we're in August, so spring of 2021 would be getting showed right now.
Okay.
Right, for most brands. Fall is already done. Fall was being showed in February. So from a seasonal standpoint, right? So being at these shows, you have access to see what's coming, what's new, what's happening, who's there, what stores are spending and things of that nature. So it was a natural next step for me as a sales associate, or just moving up from intern to understanding sales. So understanding what items are going to sell in different demographics, really talking and building relationships with the buyers and being able to provide support. So it was at these shows that I'm seeing the bigger brands like the Pumas, the Akus, the Hustle Gang, like just in certain lanes, because I was more so in the streetwear and the sportswear. But you're seeing these companies that are showing that have these huge booths, and they're giving the buyers champagne, right? And they have a full-on activation. It's just like, wow, you can understand why some of these brands are as big as they are, because they're spending the money and the time on these buyers to make sure that they have great placement in these stores.
Yeah. And the presentation, like you said, and the presentation.
The product. You make the product look sexy, you're going to have a flock of buyers.
Yeah, facts. Okay, that's dope. So is that how most trade shows are? Is just a bunch of different like sellers and brands set up trying to, I guess, what is it selling to? Because trade shows are more so about selling to like retailers, right? Not necessarily the general public. It's more so about trying to get stores to pick you up, right?
Exactly. Yeah, vendors.
Okay.
So the vendors would be the brands and the different people trying to sell to the stores, and the stores are the ones being, presented to, being coerced to buy. I mean, coerce is not a really good word, but like, persuaded to buy. Like, why should I put your product in my store?
Got you. Okay. Mm-hmm. No, that sounds. I've never been to a trade show. It sounds like it'll be a high energy, like interesting place.
Some of them, yeah. Some of them not so much. It just depends on, what is all being sold at that show. So the hat show is going to be a lot more popping than the streetwear show, and as it relates to energy wise, anyway.
Yeah, got you. Okay, that's dope, man. So I want to move more so into the topic of Paces, man. Your book. So can you let us know just what is Paces about, and what are the things that you want people who are reading Paces to take away from it?
Great question. So just off the strength of what Paces is, and essentially I've been writing it for 3 years. So I just finished it at the end of last year. COVID threw a ramp in it where I wasn't able to put it out earlier, but now it's here. Essentially what PACES is, the P stands for passion, the A is for action, the C is for courage, and the E is for energy. That's the PACE. And everybody really moves at their own. The S is success, which is defined differently by anyone. So literally, like, you use those ingredients to get to that success. So that's, in a nutshell, you know, what the title and what it stands for, and the contents of what's going to be inside of it are the different levels as far as how to prepare you to get to that success. So specifically for me personally, I wrote the book in reverse. And when I say I wrote it in reverse, meaning that I wrote the chapter names out before I even had the chapters done, like written, because I knew that these were the things that I needed to be better to get to the success that I desired. So even there's a chapter called Health is Wealth. And at the time where I wrote that chapter, like, I'm going to write something on health being wealth, because at the time I did not feel that way. I was eating sloppy, a bunch of grease, you know, not drinking enough water, not exercising, not meditating, not praying, like just different things where taking care of your health is wealth. Because if you don't feel physically fit, you're not going to be able to do your best. You're not going to have that energy to keep going. You're not going to have that courage to face all these obstacles. So these are that's just one chapter, but essentially, like, each chapter hits on a different point that helps you in that journey, in that process.
Okay. And so the bigger meaning of it, or individual meaning to the reader, is though that, like, just breaking kind of those mental barriers, or is it making yourself a better person to put yourself at your pace to be successful? That, like, am I correct in thinking
that's a good way to break it down. Absolutely. Yep. It puts you mentally on a level to be on pace for your own success.
Okay, so then that gives me another question for you then, man. So how important would you say that having a good understanding of yourself is to success? Like, is it like, I don't want to, I'm trying to figure out a way not to make it sound like so cliche, you know what I'm saying? So, like, corny, but I have my thoughts on it, you know what I'm saying? I'm curious to, like, what you think about it. Like, how important do you think someone understanding themselves has to do with, like, their level of success?
It's instrumental, because if you don't know yourself, you're not going to know when it's time for you to leave a situation, or when it's time for you to take a risk to be able to continue moving forward. If you don't know yourself, the people around you don't know you either, right? Yeah. So they won't know how to move around you. They won't know your tendencies. And 9 times out of 10, if you don't know yourself, you're not going to stay committed to an opportunity, right? Again, even when you don't know yourself, you're not going to have that passion to keep going. Like, you have to know what you're passionate about, that you're going to make a choice to continue doing. A lot of times, even in this generation, like, people want to be the jack of all trades and do everything. In the beginning, that's cool, that's cute, because it's like, oh yeah, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do that. But there's no umbrella effect, right? So when I think of this umbrella effect, I think of, you know, Disney, right? Disney or whatever big motion picture company, Lion King, box office hit, so billions of dollars worldwide. So they could take a risk on a lower level movie because they have this umbrella effect. You got to think about that on your own accord as it relates to, you know, knowing yourself. Like, what can you really do that's going to make you go to the next level, and focus on that. For me, specifically, that one thing at first was merchandising. I was running from it for a long time. I didn't necessarily, because I cared about it. However, at a certain point, I lost the knack, as far as, like, the desire to want to do it, until I refound, you know, how I could make this my umbrella effect, and make this, like, you know what, I have to take control of this. I can't run away from this. This is my one thing. But that doesn't stop me now from doing multiple other things, because I have this umbrella.
Yeah. And I like the way that you explained it to me and Sean, was also that having an understanding of our own personalities would, like, improve our business relationship, because now we kind of have an understanding of, like, the way that we think. So just quick story time for y'all. So Evan, you know what I'm saying? Evan calls us up one day. Or actually, Sean hits me one day, was like, yo, man, Evan wants to do this personality test with us. You know what I'm saying? He was talking to me about, like, all the benefits it could have for our business, and we should do it. I've already done it. You should do it. And he shoots me this link at, like, 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, all right, I'll do it in the morning. You know what I'm saying? So we do it. Well, I do it. Sean does it. We submit it to you. You have your individual calls with us. And to be honest with you, man, I was pretty shocked at like the analysis that came from it and just like how accurate a lot of the things that it talked about as far as our personality and our business relationship. Like it was very spot on. Like I remember telling you like there may be like one thing I disagree with, but everything else is pretty much there. And we always reference back to that because now so many things in our business relationship make sense. So for instance, one thing was like Sean is a lot more like quick to shit than I am. So Sean's the type of person who's like, yo, you gotta go now. And I'm the type of person that's like, yo, bro, hold up, you know what I'm saying? Let's look at it first. Let's make sure shit is cool. And then, you know what I'm saying? Let's go out there. And then when we think about it, I think you broke it down. I was like, man, you know, it's good because you need that person that's going to be quick and force you to jump out your comfort zone to do shit. But then you also need that person that's like, all right, but we can't fuck up the quality of it just because it needs to be done. Let's take a second to look back. And when you said that, I was like, damn, that is our whole business relationship in a nutshell, man. You know what I'm saying? So ever since then, I've seen dozens and dozens of like interviews and clips come up on YouTube literally talking about that exact same thing since we talked about how important it is to understand like the personalities of your employees, the personalities of the people that you're working with, understand like their individual strengths and weaknesses and the things that they're striving for, because that shit literally can have an impact on the way your business runs and the operation of everything. You know, so it was like, damn, bro, Evan put me onto that, you know, like Evan put me onto that game, man. So, I mean, I know business development is one of your stronger fields. So is that something that you would encourage like every team to do, like to go through that process? Like, yo, let's sit down and just really evaluate everyone that's part of the team and see like, yo, what are your core strengths so we can work around that? You know, is that something you recommend to people?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because just from, I appreciate your testimony or your analogy on it as well, because sometimes when I'm doing these assessments, I never really know later on, because if a client doesn't continue to like deep dive and want to dive deeper, if they got it, they got it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Some people dive deeper just to understand more and go more in depth. So when I haven't heard the perspectives of how it benefits them, it always makes me happy, because it's like, I know that I'm doing my job as a coach. Being a new life coach, it's definitely one. I think I did you all's in the first 2 months of me, being certified to administer it, and I was still working and moving towards it. So it's like, I definitely see myself doing these on larger scales with businesses. It's necessary, because now you'll know exactly who you're working with, and you won't take things so personal.
Yeah.
A lot of times in business, we make things about us. It's not about us. If somebody's personality is A and you're B, there's just naturally going to be some things that y'all do differently. And y'all need to compromise and figure out how to work in y'all strengths and, stray away from the weaknesses. So that's something that I enjoy showing people and breaking down to people so that they can become better themselves, because it's a great tool. The assessment is a great tool, and it really shows people who they are.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for real. Like, anybody watching this, man, is skeptical. Like I said, like I went into it too. Like, and then after that, I was like, damn, bro, no, this is pretty there, bro. Like, I was like, damn, that is me. That's me, bro. That's me. Okay.
It took you 30 minutes. You was 30 minutes in, still grilling me. Like, what are you about to say?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was like, I still kept going though. Listen, bro. You took it honestly. This got to be you. I'm gonna keep going till it hits. Yeah, so I'm glad that y'all use it and to help y'all propel y'all business, because I see it growing, and I'm excited for y'all, bro. I'm excited.
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, man, for real. But like I said, I really do I give a lot of it to that. Because like I said, it's one of those things you never think about. Like sometimes you don't think about you and someone else's dynamic until it's put in front of you. And then you're like, oh shit, it is us, bro. Like it's like looking at yourself, you know what I'm saying? Which actually makes me think, man, this just kind of came to me right now. Because I'm kind of tying like the merchandising and the life coach stuff. So I say that because I look at like the merchandiser for most artist team usually seems to be one of the last things that's added, but it's a very life-changing position. And like usually merchandise is usually the point where like artists start really like seeing like money, you know what I'm saying? Like from what I've seen, it's like, yo, the streaming money is one thing, but then like they're getting off, 10,000 t-shirts is a whole different feeling, you know what I'm saying? So I just makes me wonder if you look at it that way, and if that feeling of helping the artists around you set that up is what motivates you to want to become a life coach. If I'm wrong, like I said, that's something I just kind of I just thought about that while I'm talking about it. But It seems like something that
So
will go together.
not necessarily. Like the merch doesn't tie into the life coaching in any capacity. The merch
Okay,
is a
okay.
medium. It's a I look at merchandise as a medium more than just fashion these days for sure. Like, cause you can literally
Yeah,
make statements with your merch. You know what I'm saying? So being able to help put out these messages for artists and different people that I work with and things of that nature, it's a great feeling to just help others that want to put out a message.
yeah,
That can encompass the life coaching, but as far as the coaching goes, I'm a manager. So I was already coaching, period. So being able to guide somebody in a way that helps them propel in life was really more so of why I was like, this makes sense. Being able to coach is you're being looked at as this credible figure or somebody who's trusted that can help me go in the right direction. So even as you
yeah,
think of like a mentor, or you're trusting that they've walked a certain walk and they're giving you feedback that's going to make sure that you're walking in the right direction.
yeah.
That's a very, safe space. Like someone that it's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, I didn't even think
So
of it like that. It's very, I never thought of it like that. Like the role of a mentor. A mentor basically is a life coach, right? Someone
yeah,
walking you through
yeah,
their experiences too. I never thought of it like that. So I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, is there a particular, what's the way I'm not trying to ask this question. Is there like a particular type of person or a particular point that you would say someone should have that type of person around them? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say whether you look at like a mentor or like a life coach, we can't denounce like the value of having somebody that's a little bit ahead of you in something, So like, I guess for the life coaching specifically, like what types of people do you think benefit from your services the most? I guess that's what I'm trying to ask. Like, what type of people do you think come to you and benefit from you the most?
Oh, people that want it, people that want to
Okay.
go to the next level, because there's people that will do a consult and see themselves and reject it, and that's okay. Maybe you're not ready for that information because it can be a lot to see yourself in the mirror, like you said earlier. Some
Yeah.
people can't necessarily deal with that and be ready to take the next step to move forward and how to really assess it and make the necessary changes to go to the next level. The
Yeah.
people that I'm most interested in is the people that are willing to do the work. Are you ready to get out in the field and do the burpees and do the squats and lift the weights and get in the gym? Not literally, but do the work so that you can grow. Because sometimes, we're human. Sometimes it may not be the right timing that you feel. However, if you're ready to do the work, let's get it.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. That's dope. Anybody that wants it, bro. Anybody that wants it, that's who needs it. I like that. I like that. So I mean, that's pretty much everything that like I had, bro. Like you answered every question I had. Like I said, me and Sean are walking testimonies of what you do, man. We vouch for everything you do 100%, man. That's why I wanted to bring you here. And like I said, that whole thing that you taught us about understanding dynamics and personalities and how to face business, bro, that shit just like lit a light bulb in my head, man. Like I literally look at all of our employees that same way, like, man, let me get to know your personality and this person is great at this because they're naturally XYZ. Then like great example, we have one guy that works for us, like he likes to talk a lot, you know what I'm saying? He borderline talks too much, but he's a great sales guy because he can talk, you know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
that's what we put him at. Like, bro, you want to talk? Go talk all day, bro. You can talk for 8 hours a day, bro. Do your thing.
And he bring the sales back.
Yeah,
That's how you keep the
exactly.
company rolling.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's fine, bro. So tell everybody, man, where they can find you, how they can contact you if they want to reach out to you, and then, man, actually, yeah, let's do that first. I'll save my last question, but let everybody know where they can find you, and how they can contact you if they want to, show you that they're serious and get things going.
For sure, man. So you can find me at on Instagram, of course, paces.worldwide.
Mm.
And my personal page is I Set Trends, ISETRENDS. And also, if you were looking for coaching or wanted to purchase the book that's dropping on September 1st, it's www.pacesworldwide.com.
All right, fire, man. So last question for you, bro. Last question. What's
Mm-hmm.
what's the best piece of advice you've gotten, and what is the biggest life lesson you've learned?
So 2 questions. What is the best piece of advice I've ever?
It is 2 questions. Yeah, you're right. It is 2 questions. What's the best
Okay.
piece of advice you feel like you've ever gotten, and what's the best or biggest life lesson you feel like you learned?
Okay, so as it relates to business, the best piece of advice that I've ever gotten was that sales is the heartbeat of any company. Mm. And I say this in many other, it just hit me so crazy because, again, I studied public relations and communications. I was getting ready to be in that field, in that realm, at an agency, suited up, clean face, you know, in the office, corporate, whatever. And that one statement let me know that if I go that path, I'm not going to become the CEO or the executive or the person that I need to become. Because communications and PR is not going to bring you to the top of the boardroom because your opinion is not, you know, received the same way as the sales guys and the accounting guys and the finance guys and the people making the money decisions. So again, if there's no sales, my job doesn't exist. There is no public relations. There is no marketing fancy campaign. There is, you know, all of that's getting cut to go back to sales. So that is the best piece of advice that I've ever gotten, and it literally shifted my life. I literally went from taking a safe job, making a good 50, 60K a year out of college, whatever it was, to interning with no real path. And I made something with it. So that literally was the best piece of advice.
Okay. Okay.
And the second question was the most
the biggest or best life lesson. Oh, I don't want to say biggest. I don't like the way that's worded. The best life lesson you feel like you've learned so far.
That's a good one too. Just off the top of my head, being present. Mm-hmm. Like much of my life, or I can't say much of my adult life was spent, you know, drinking and drugging and, you know, not there, right? Yeah. Like my experiences in life, it revolved around drinking. Like celebrating my successes, I was drinking. Celebrating my downs, I was drinking. When I was bored, I was drinking. No, so really, I was not present. I was not there. Now that I'm here, you know, I have my mental more intact. I'm more clear. I can be present. I could go take a walk and I could see butterflies. I could see the ants. I can hear the birds. I can smell the trees. I'm so present and I can accept these moments and I can enjoy them and internalize them and just enjoy the little things. Because sometimes in life, we take things so serious. Sometimes we don't even smile. I smile so much now, and that's because I'm so present. So that's something that just was on my heart just now. Be present.
Yeah, no, that's fire, man. That's A1 advice. Both of those are A1 advice, man. Appreciate you again, bro. That's Evan, you guys. Make sure you go follow him at I Set Trends at Paces Worldwide. Paces dropping September 1st. Definitely going to be checking that joint out. And appreciate you again, bro, for real, for taking the time out to have this conversation with me.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, man. See you next time.
Problem. Hey, bro. See you next time, bro. And as always, if you feel like you learned anything, make sure you like and share this video. Hit those post notifications as well, as it really helps the channel out. Once again, my name is Khori. This has been my guy, Evan. We will see y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.